Hi, welcome on back to the AnKorage and welcome to 2024. It's January 2nd, so at the time of this recording. So we've incremented the year number from a 3 to a 4, so isn't that great? Anyhow, we just ended the backing campaign for the latest Ghostbusters Haslab, which is the 2-in-the-box. A ghost trap and a PKE meter. So, and I happened to back it up within the first hour that it was open, and there you go. So now we're at the point that, most of the, December went by. It ended on, the midnight, stroke of midnight from the 11th over to the 12th. Pew, gone. So now, since then, they've moved on to continued development on the trap and the PKE meter. And we can expect to see those by the end of autumn, by the end of fall. So that basically brings us all the way until December 20th/21st. So we've got the entire year to go, essentially. Based on my previous prophecy, if you want to call it, based on the Proton pack Haslab, they said by spring of 2023, and as soon as the year switched over from 22 to 23, they started mailing them out. Well, everything was in their shipping facility in the States, and we started receiving them shortly thereafter. Mine in particular, it's right there. They had the ticket for shipping, the shipping receipt or tag, or however you want to call it. They had that on like January 5th, and I received it the day of the 17th, I think. I'd have to look back. I have the emails archived, so, sue me. And it was shipped from their shipping facility in California. And, of course, these were all built and shipped out originally from China. And it came over to China. Yeah. China and Chino. There you go. So that's how I'm going to pronounce it. It's not the pronunciation, but that is how I'm going to pronounce it. It's Chino. China, Chino. There you go. And it tore across the country in 3 days. So, kudos to the driver. I mean, that is not an easy road trip. 3 days? But it got to Middletown, Connecticut, and there it sat without any more transportation going on for 3 days. And so then, there was absolutely no reason for it to have sat there for 3 days. So, the little chaotic hamster in me says they were paid to hold it for 3 days. Granted, that's not the case. It's just the type of shipping that was put in. And from there, it was all on FedEx's decision and stuff like that. It got there, sat there for 3 days, and then it came up to New Hampshire, 2 states away. It was so close. I could have driven down there. It was only a 2-hour ride from here. I could have driven down there and grabbed it if I really, really, really wanted to. But they probably wouldn't surrender it to me because, they had a job to do and they were going to do it, and I just had to sit back and whatever. So, but I wasn't that kind of person to go chasing after it. I just sat and I just waited patiently. And on the 17th, it showed up, and there you go. and I've done my videos on it and everything like that, and I'm going to continue doing videos on that Proton pack, and that's going to be this particular episode, because with the most current Haslab moving on in development, we're not going to hear a dang thing about anything. No progress reports, nothing like that. Hasbro just shut up and they don't say anything until they decide people are worthy of being told something. But that's their decision. Whatever. I just sit back patiently, and there you go. And so, what am I going to do between now and then? Well, whenever I happen to hear something from them, I might very well share it. But for right now, I'm going to swing back around to the Proton pack, and we're actually going to be focusing on an upgrade to it. And so, well, what can be upgraded on it? Let's see. Well, I've done my somewhat upgrades to it. The main point is not damaging it, because damaging the product devalues it. The collector value. So all of my modifications have been in such a way that doesn't damage it. I've replaced a few parts that could be replaced, and doesn't damage it. So I'm going to continue with that. And so we are going to grab the pack. I'm going to bring it up here on the couch, and we'll talk about that. Okay, so we're back, and lighting is horrible, so my apologies there. It's 4:45 and the sun's gone. So, but, I'll have some B-roll, so make it look a little prettier. So there we go. So what will we be focusing? Well, here's the pack, and we're not doing anything up here. We're doing something on the cyclotron, this part here. So, a point I have to get across to folks is, what is the cyclotron? Below my arm is the entire thing. This entire portion is the cyclotron. Some folks will argue against that. So I'm going to open it up. I'm going to remove the shock mount. That's this guy. Take off the bumper. That's this guy. And take off the cover. Remove the cables from that. And here it is. People will argue that this portion here, this round portion here, let's see if I can get this off of here. There it is. People will argue that this is the entire cyclotron. And that is based on the fact that when Phoebe was working on the Proton pack in the movie, she was looking at it and said, "How did you make such a small cyclotron while looking at this?" And you know what this is? This is the barrel element. Now, what purpose does a barrel element serve in a cyclotron? I haven't a clue. I only know some very basic rudimentary way of things about how cyclotrons work, such as these coils, such as what this piece is here. But we're not going to be focusing on anything on the inside. So, I'm going to put that back. Sorry. Put this top nut back on. Make sure it's nice and tight. We're going to be focusing on the cover. This piece. So in the 1984 film, these 4 red gels would light up and hold Bang, 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 bang. And that's it. And in Afterlife, there was what looks like a small light or something that spun around in here to give kind of like the illusion of something spinning in there. Yeah, and I've actually seen the prop itself on Tested channel, on YouTube. It's Adam Savage from the Mythbusters. Where there's an actual rod that's on a motor that spins around. But we're not focusing on that part of it. We're actually going to be focusing on the part that we saw in Afterlife. We got to see the backside. This portion. The inner portion. All up there, you can kind of see it. Stuff like that. Bring it over. There we are. So, when you look at this, what you see is everything inside of it is black. Except for the screws, or the screw heads. The heads of the screws are chrome, but everything else is black. The wires are black. The CRT emitters are black. The CRT coils are black, or the coil assemblies are black. There's supposed to be a ribbon cable, colored ribbon cable around the outer edge. That's all black and everything like that. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be doing a little bit of an upgrade to this, where, in preserving the collective value of the unit as a whole, I'm going to be doing an upgrade in a sense that doesn't damage it. So what I'm going to be doing is we're going to replace these CRT coils and these CRT emitters. Now, what does the CRT stand for? Well, that means cathode ray tube. It harks back to television, because those are CRTs, cathode ray tubes. There you go. And these are miniature ones, and the only thing that this cover serves outside of covering the inner workings of the cyclotron is, in order to see that it's actually operating, you need to be able to see activity in these little windows. And that's what these windows are to serve, is that there's activity going on in the cyclotron. And what these emitters and coils do is they emit a light particle, or a particle of some type, into the coil stream, and at that point it moves from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and just goes around in circles. So that is, by operational definition, that's all this cover does. It covers up the assembly for, make it safe, and the CRT emitters, all they do is just emit light to show that there's activity in the cyclotron. That's it. And based on the Benitez effects for the pack in Afterlife is a good job, and and actually saying that these CRT emitters are what actually provides that activity indication is really good. So what we're going to be doing is we will be upgrading this, and I'll tell you about that. And but for right now, I'm going to get up off the floor because my knees are killing me. Okay, so I'm back, and I shut that light off. I need a better way to disperse the light off of that thing. This is a $15 super mega work light LED thing that I bought from Walmart. I needed some way to reflect it and diffuse it at the same time, kind of like a flood. What was it back in the old days of drama? A frost, a Fresnel kind of light effect, because it's kind of like a wash. Because that's what we called it. It was a Fresnel for a wash. So there we go. Needs to work with that. So anyhow, so yeah, I'm going to be working on upgrading the inner portion of that cyclotron cover, And what I'm going to be doing is switching out those CRT emitters and coils. And, there's a shop on Etsy that actually produces those. And I went ahead and I bought them, and I got them weathered. And, let's see, what was it? Got them weathered, and I got the spacers. So you can get them without spacers, but it's best with the spacers because they're all brass. And all the screws are brass as well. And you can get it not weathered, so it looks like it's brand new. However, when looking at the Etsy store listing, I saw them in both the plain and the unweathered and the weathered versions. And and one of the things that we want to show is that, like I said previously, it looked like Hasbro took an actual Proton pack and power washed the thing because it is clean. Yeah, it's really clean, and that any weathering from that point that Hasbro did looks more like they aged it more so than they weathered it. And so moving on with that, I'm trying to hold that to the value. Any weathering that takes place is from use. So, Hasbro wouldn't go in and power wash the inside of the cyclotron cover or anything like that. But it also kind of looks like they did. But I want to have the cyclotron show that it had aged. So how do you do that? Use something that's got weathering on it. So I'm doing weathering on these coils and CRT emitters. The emitters are going to be replaced because the Etsy store has ones that actually have the inner portions of them look like metal. Granted, they're not, or they shouldn't be. But whereas the Hasbro ones, they don't look metal at all. They just look like injected plastic on the insides of those emitters. So I'm currently waiting for those parts to come in, and in part 2, we are going to make that upgrade, and we're going to make it happen. So I'm going to perform it at that time, and there we go. So make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. Smash that like button, pulverize that subscribe button, and also tick off the notification bell so that you can see when part 2 comes out, and also whenever any other videos happen to come out, because who knows, I might do it sooner, I might do it later, I might have other stuff I might want to throw in there. So subscribe it and click on the notification bell, and you'll get notified when I've got something new going on. So thank you very much, I appreciate it. Make sure you come on back. It's going to be a phantasmical journey, or a phantasmical journey. Phantasmical journey. If I can say it right. There we go. So, and don't forget, you can also see me on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the Switch to Linux supporter streams. And we talk about all kinds of stuff related to computers, internet, you name it, Linux. You name it, anything in that realm. So, yeah, you can see me there. I don't talk all the time, but, I talk, and you'll see me, and there we go. So, and we'll just catch you next time. So, Skál, and have a good one. I am going to go get some water because my throat is killing me. Excuse me.